Oh. The news and views expressed herein are the sole property of Kenosha Today. Certain portions of this program may be unsuitable for children, sensitive adults, small animals, and the general public. Viewer discretion is advised. Are we ready, Scott?
Yes, we are. Crank her
All
up.
right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Uncle Scotty Barter along with Elmo the Insane Schneider. And Party Makes Three. Elmo, you do the introduction.
This is my good friend Fiona, the giant inflatable penguin.
So there's two inflatables in the house. Didn't want to let her feel left out. And we welcome you to the February 20th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. We are on a mission to broadcast here in 2021 anywhere on this wonderful planet we call Earth. And as of now, maybe we're going to be in Mars.
Hey, yeah.
300 million miles, and we're going to get to that.
A lot of people think we are already.
So anyway, we are streaming live across the somewhat frozen tundra. It's been a tough week weather-wise here in the Kenosha Today Nation. And we are brought to you this morning by our major sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, along with a host of other very fine local businesses. We remain committed to the great city of Kenosha, and we'll continue to broadcast live and local, bringing you the most up-to-date news, weather, sports, and entertainment. And, of course, we welcome your call-ins. There it is, 262-597-3020. We weren't here last week, as all of our fans know, unfortunately, at the last minute, because I actually have to work for a living. And this is my time. It's been a very busy February, and I have to take next week off too. So we appreciate your concerns, and I got all my texts and wondering if I'm got eaten up by the COVID. But I got my first shot, and we'll get into that a little bit. And again, if you want to watch the replay of the Saturday Morning Breakfast Club, you just go to YouTube and type it in, and there we are.
Hopefully we'll be back on Channel 14 in the near future.
Maybe even this next week. I'm not sure yet, but everybody can now sign up with the thousands of our fans who have liked us and joined the Kenosha Today Nation on Facebook. Again, our number 262-597-3020. It is 10 degrees here in the Kenosha Today Nation this morning. For those in our stock market, it just continues to. It's over 31.5. For those that are in the market, you did good this year. So anyway, I guess let's just start with the debacle down in Texas. I'm still not certain how all this, well, a lot of finger pointing now, but the grids, how come for 70 years, Texas has decided to do their own power grid?
Well, one of the main problems is the government down there just passed a thing that says X amount of your money has to come from solar and wind. So they were getting 23% of their power from wind turbines, except when the storm hit, they all froze.
Yeah, well, who saw that coming? You'd think that, of course, they haven't had a freeze in Texas in, 70 years or something.
Oh, no, they've had them. I got friends that live down there. They get it once a year. Not as bad as this one. But
well, they're going to have to figure out some kind of a deal that...
it's called natural gas.
Yeah, to keep these from freezing up. I mean, millions.
No, it's called don't rely on windmills that don't work.
Yeah. It is the nation's #1 energy producing state and couldn't keep enough, 20 million people? 29 million people. No, that's 4 million people that were affected by this. There's 29 million in the entire state. But, man, you talk about some of the pictures you see in the newscasts. No heat. I have a client that's down real south of Dallas, He didn't have any heat, couldn't use the computers, couldn't do anything.
Nope.
Then he didn't have water. I mean, things
Yeah,
were,
now the water pipes are busting down there.
yeah,
so they
because they're
got,
frozen. So,
if you're a plumber, want to make some extra cash, head to Texas.
well, that's true. And in fact, my client is kind of one of those catch-all, does electrical plumbing. And I remember when they had the hurricane down there some years ago. I mean, he was busy for 2 years trying to put roofs back on and siding and
Yep.
find out where the houses are. But there's going to be, they got to figure something out because you can't have that. And usually they blame all the politicians, right? I mean, generally.
Well, they're the ones that put the mandate on this. I don't know what it's got some weird initial,
Yeah,
E something. I can't.
I can't find it here, but that was the name of this particular grid. Now there's another one that takes care of the East Coast, and then there's another one that takes care of the West Coast. And you get up to there was one city out there that wasn't affected because they aren't for some reason they're in Texas, but they're not affected by this. But it goes to show how everybody's come to rely on simple things like heat, water,
Yeah,
food.
we can't. Well, it's even a national security issue, really. If that thing, it's ridiculous.
So to go along with that, then our buddy Ted Cruz takes off and goes to Cancun. What do you think of that? I mean, he's taking a lot of heat for that.
I think. What's he going to do about it? He's a senator. It's the governor's job to take care of Texas. So.
Well, true, but it didn't look good for him when he's down in Cancun, and then claims it was just a last minute thing. And apparently somebody's fact checking text messages and showing that he had this. Well, he didn't plan it until all of this hit the fan. And so remember Chris Christie?
Mm-hmm.
He ended up in the same problem. Went back in what year was this?
He was a governor, though.
He was the governor, okay, but he closed the beaches, and for what was it? It was the state government in 2017. He closed the parks and beaches in New Jersey, and guess where they found? Oh, Chris and his family sunbathing out on the beach. So, do as I say, that is,
Right.
what as I do. But
But what's the Senate supposed to do about a problem with the power grid in Texas?
well, I agree. The fact is,
You know.
I mean, it looks bad for him, and I don't know if it's bad enough.
Well, he's a Republican. The press is going to they make every Republican look bad.
Yeah.
That's their, they're all activists. There's no journalism left anymore. So.
Well, anyway, Chris Christie he was right up there. He claims, he said, why is the press beating Ted Cruz? And he says, well, he's just not a likable guy. Well, he does have some kind of, I don't know, it's just something that rubs a lot of people, but he keeps getting elected. How long has he been a senator? For 10 years, right?
Well, at least. Well, how about the mayor of Austin? There was a while back, he closed down everything in Austin, then he took off and went
Yeah.
to Puerto Rico or someplace like that
Yeah.
to vacations.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the first person that's on the line to take the hit is the local politician. But then I heard an interview with Ted Cruz and come back and says, yeah, as soon as I got on the plane, I knew that my place was here with my constituents to at least call the federal government and see what they, call in water and do the best they could. So we'll see if he weathers that storm. People have short memories, but I don't know if they will for this issue. But
Well, I heard he was supposed to hook up with Captain, and he didn't hear that the captain had come back early, so that's...
Our captain?
Yeah.
Well, I know why he didn't hook up with him. We're going to get to that in a later because when the rover, what's the name of that rover? What's the name?
Perseverance, yeah.
When it landed, did you see who met them after it landed? Captain Sakastopoli come around from this big boulder. So, welcome to our country. And of course, one of the sad news that Rush Limbaugh passed away this week at age 70. What did he have? Cancer?
Yeah, he had lung cancer.
And so, to go with your, the Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, he wanted to fly the flags at half staff. And of course, the other side's just saying, no, he can't do that.
They're actually, what it says, the protocol for that is only if the president dies or one of the senators from your state dies. That's the only time the flag is supposed to be flown at half-staff. So that
Or if you're a Republican governor in Florida. So,
well, no, it's done all the time. People declare this stuff all the time, and it's really not the correct protocol. There's nothing illegal about it, but the correct protocol is, what it says.
he,
someplace.
Trump, after it was disclosed that Limbaugh had this cancer, Trump gives him the Medal of Honor.
Congressional Medal of Freedom. Yep.
Yeah, awarded only to a civilian. Yeah.
Yes, the highest honor to a civilian.
Yeah. And so, he brought conservative, how long was he on? Almost 30 years?
32 or 33. 1988 he came on. So.
And he was doing it,
He basically saved AM radio. AM radio was
Yeah.
basically going to go out of business. And
he
then-
was, wasn't he in Indiana before he moved to,
Well, he was born in Missouri,
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
and then he had a show in Sacramento, California for 5 or 6 years before it went national. And then,
Well, he brought a point of view that whether you like him or hate him, but he was very conservative, and some of the things might be considered by some a little out there, but he survived it.
well,
all.
the thing that he made it entertaining, though, that was
Yeah.
the good thing. He could mix comedy in there, and then everybody was so arrogant. They didn't say he was making, talent on loan from God. He's making fun of himself. If you don't, people
Yeah.
that said he was awful never listened to the show. That's the whole thing.
I remember years ago when Spider and I were still back in Channel 14 before we got to the radio, and we would make fun of ourselves first because I would get criticized every so often for making fun of some
Whomever,
little kid
that's
or
it,
something.
yeah.
I mean, I says, you don't watch the show then because I mean we make fun of our like we do now when Gunga calls in. So if you don't make it a little entertaining, everybody's going to yawn, fall asleep, and crash their foreheads on it, stump and go away. But
It all comes from Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get no respect.
yeah, that's right. I'd listened to him a little bit, but he was on 2 hours, right, or 4 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours every day, and he was doing it from his house, right?
Yeah, he was originally in New York City, and then the taxes got so high up there, he said, screw that, and he moved to,
Florida.
he had a house in Florida that he would do down there, and he moved full-time down there.
So it's just kind of like, here's what we're
That's right,
we're
yeah,
doing.
he
This
had
is
a
the
home
future.
studio down there.
Yeah. So he's going to be missed, and I don't think you replace people like that for the next 30
Nope.
years. I don't know who's in the wings. You get these icons like him and some of the other Henry Aarons. You're never going to replace them. And, they are one of a
I guess
kind.
the current plan is to play past segments out of the show, when have like a guest host on there and
Oh.
do like a retrospective, maybe for the next 4 to 6 months, and then they'll decide.
Kind of wean it out a little bit.
Yeah, but who can replace him? That's the whole thing. There's some good guys out there, but they've all got their own shows already. So
The two that come to my mind is Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity.
yep.
They're
Well,
you think?
Hannity's got his own show.
Oh.
He's got his own radio show. Carlson's just on TV.
Well, Sean Hannity,
Mark Levin, he's
Yeah.
in there.
but they're on Fox for, what, an hour at night? Sean Hannity and Tucker
Yeah, he's got
Carlson.
both radio and TV.
Oh, okay.
Dennis Prager, he's another guy.
Well,
Mike Gallagher, not the congressman from Wisconsin. There's a different one.
but those are the two that come to my mind. And Mark Levine, I remember hearing about him. But, you talk about reruns. Some of those shows, All in the Family, MASH, all of those great sitcoms, made more in syndication than the 9 years they were actually on the air. So I love watching the Johnny Carson reruns and looking at the Foster Brooks reruns from all that stuff. And like you mentioned, Rodney, and there's a couple other ones that are, the guys were just really
Well, it even goes
hilarious.
back. Henny Youngman, Take My Wife, Please.
Yeah. So, a little bit of news on the vaccine. I had my first one a week ago, and I get 2 weeks ago, and I get my third one this Thursday. Third one,
Second
second
one.
one. I'm going
You
to
can
count.
count.
Don't. I'm going to count. Don't confuse me with numbers. Well, anyway, 50% of the county 65 and over has gotten at least one dose, and they got about 42%. We got a ways to go. Somewhere down apparently in March, they're going to open it up to everybody else. And if you have a pencil handy, here's the number you can call 262-605-6799. That's 262-605-6799. And calls can be in English, of course, Spanish. And, and you can find out there's more vaccine is coming. As of Wednesday, 12% of the total population, 21,000 and change, have been vaccinated.
We have a caller here, Uncle Scotty.
Alrighty, go ahead.
Morning, you're on Kenosha
Good morning,
Today.
gentlemen. This is Dr. Sebastian Gorka, and I'd like to volunteer to take Rush Limbaugh's place.
He wouldn't be bad either, yeah.
Have you
You
been vaccinated?
No, and I don't think I'm going to.
Why is that?
Well, when I was on vacation, I had an opportunity to talk to this guy who was a longtime nurse practitioner who, they're a step below a doctor. They can give prescriptions and everything. And he told me, quiet as it's kept, there are some glitches, and they're still actually even doing testing. And he said if I could hold off to the end of the year or early next year, it'd be the old-fashioned, really true instead of synthetic vaccine that used to be given for polio and chicken pox back in the day when we were kids. So I'm going to try and hold out. And he said, besides, the population, the amount that will be vaccinated, plus the ones that have already had the virus, will be over 50%. And there's a good chance that the odds of getting it will be way down. And those that are left will have, a lot of them might have herd immunity.
Hey,
So,
my question is, if someone tested positive, can they still get the vaccine, or won't they give it to them? I don't know. It's a question.
I believe if they had it and it's long gone, they could get the vaccine because they could get it again. I mean, you're not prevented once you've had it from getting it again. So
The chances
I
are
would
much
think
lower,
you-
though.
2 weeks ago, Dennis, I went in and I couldn't find a place, and so I went into. I called my doctor, and they got me into St. Catherine's out here, and I was impressed because they're telling me they would give 500 shots a day, very well organized. And so I go up to the registration desk, and the gal says, "Are you here for the vaccine?" And I said, "What vaccine? I'm here for the online dating registration." She said, "Oh, a cutie." She says, "Okay."
Well,
Now she says, "Take a look around. See if there's anything you like." I'm the only one in the place under 100 years of age. so I go into the nurse and I says, I got to tell you something. I'm a big baby. She goes, "What are you talking about?" And I says, "Well, I don't like needles and I might start screaming and crying." She goes, "Well, you won't have to do that until I hit the bone." But
oh God.
I waited to the 15 minutes. My little beeper goes off, and I didn't have, except for a sore arm, I did lose a little taste for a couple days. But a couple Long Islands, and I switched that right back to.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, I could see how you'd be impressed with 500 shots a day because in your heyday, you could only do about
That's almost
maybe
record.
60 shots a day,
That's
right?
almost record. Yeah. Well, when they get done, they gave you juice and an opportunity of a cookie. And hey, what do you think of our guests here?
I never thought anything would come between you and Elmo, but, if something has to, I guess that's an appropriate choice there.
2 Fridays ago,
I have a theory.
I walked
I have a
into the
theory on why
boathouse.
we're going to Mars, Scott.
What?
I have a theory on why we're trying to go to Mars.
Okay.
Well, on Mars, what would we be? We'd be aliens.
That's right.
So we can judge what aliens get here, and we're going there for a bunch of free stuff.
That's right.
If there's life on Mars,
Free healthcare.
we'll be able to take advantage of their system and, get a whole bunch of free stuff.
Hey, do you think the president of Mars is going to build a wall to keep us out?
That's possible, especially if yourself and Gunga are the first couple that decide to go.
I love this country. Yeah, let's him wear his turban as he gets off the rover and talks to the welcome committee at the airport in Mars.
I do have a picture of the cover of the Weekly World News from long ago. It says, "Space aliens meet with Rush Limbaugh." And they're shaking hands on it. The aliens came to Earth, they decided to meet with him instead of the president or anybody else like that. So that's
Oh God.
You know, they've been working on this project for, I think I heard 10 years. I don't know if that's right, but
Mm-hmm.
7 days and 300 million miles in travels. I mean,
Wow.
what, 7 years.
It took them 7 years to go. I thought it was 7
Yep.
days.
No, you can barely get to the moon in 7 days.
Oh, okay. Then I misread it then.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, by the time it won't matter to us, obviously, but maybe several generations. Somebody said that what spurred this on too is they feel that our planet is dying and we have to have somewhere else to go.
No kidding. I'm going to Sturtevant and get out to the Hiawatha there and take a brown bag and watch the trains go by.
Our planet is not dying. The people will be dead long before the planet dies. So.
Self-destruction.
Oh, I know,
probably.
I know. I mean, that's why, like you guys were talking about, wind turbines and solar, and you know, I mean, those might be ancillary to the regular energy sources we have now, but I don't think they'll ever be primary.
No, they can't be.
Now, what's the main source of in Waterford? Energy. Main source of energy in Waterford. Rubbing two sticks together.
Well, we're kind of rudimentary over here, so they kind of wait till I have chili for dinner, and that
Just waiting for
provides
that.
enough. It provides enough gas to run the town for
Yep.
And
weeks.
they take you upwind and turn you around, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, you know that reminds me of that scene from the movie Blazing Saddles.
Oh, yep.
I can't believe it. I watched that on demand on TCM, and they left it in its original form, and they would never ever be able to make that movie today. Never.
No, never.
Well, you know what would happen, Dennis, in your case, and your description there is that, let's say you get constipated.
No.
Then we're going to have to declare Waterford a national disaster area because they can't get any heat.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. The pipes will freeze and burst, and
And
yeah, everything will go on.
and your
I
high
mean,
school guidance counselor didn't think you'd amount to much. Here you are, trying to save the town.
And I'll tell you what, Shirley must be lobbying Governor Evers, considering he wants to legalize recreation.
Oh, yeah. She's a big donor to his campaign. Wait till
Yeah.
Paul calls in. I want to hear that. As long as, you know, I forgot to put that on the docket today. What do you think? I thought we voted back in November as a.
No, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
That was the same time as Evers ran.
Oh, okay. It was an advisory, and I thought the state overwhelmingly, like 80%, voted to legalize it. Right? Am I wrong, or am I dreaming again?
No, it
I
wasn't
think
that
it
high,
was. I think it was slightly, yeah, at least slightly in favor of legalizing it. I don't think there's any way to stop it. I mean, obviously, the federal government at this point will not stop it if the state decides to do it. But I heard, is that true? I heard Oregon legalized all forms of drugs. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't have no idea. I seem to remember something about that. But
Well, you know what? They're going to get it anyway. And so why not legalize it and tax it? And, you know, look back in the Prohibition days. Who made all the money? Bugs Moran and Al Capone. Of course, he didn't pay.
Yeah, but the price of the government-sponsored marijuana is going to be
It's
so
higher.
high with taxes and everything. It's still going to force people to go to their, undercover dealer.
exactly.
You know, I got two of my grandkids are seniors in high school, and they're well versed on this. Every high school student's well versed on drugs. Do a term paper on it. I mean, first life's
Oh, definitely.
experiences. Yeah.
I had a class back in 1989 or 90 when I was going for a master's, and the debate, we had a debate on whether to legalize it or not back then, and I think at least at that time, the overwhelming majority, and that was in college, obviously, believe it or not, in 90 was not to legalize it, but,
What is,
I mean, with all the DUI problems in Wisconsin right now,
Oh.
who needs another substance that somebody can get behind? I mean,
That's
people
right.
are driving off the Milwaukee ramps as it is.
Yeah.
That's what there were two in the last week, right?
yeah. The guy lived too, I think.
Yeah, both of them lived.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, you mentioned that you got a master's degree. What's it in? Be careful.
No, I didn't. I had everything but the master's research paper. My dad passed away, and was helping my mom out then quite a bit. So I figured I'd take a semester or two off, and that turned into taking the rest of my
life.
education.
We've got another caller here, Uncle Scotty.
Hang on, Dennis.
Good morning, Gunga.
Good morning, gentlemen. Being an illegal alien myself, I'm warning the Mars people ahead of time.
Hey, when you go to Mars, and eventually you will be, because we want a representative of what America looks like and acts like. Are you
Exactly
gonna?
what I was thinking, Mr. Barker.
Are you gonna take Clyde with you? Just have his own rover, the Camel rover?
Certainly not. But I did want to make mention that the Mars people will welcome me with open arms because my urine smells like sugar cookies.
Oh.
Well, this is why we take off every so often. Your sugar cookies, huh? Well,
Yes. Would you like to have a sniff? I will bring a vat of my urine for you.
I have a question, Gunga.
Welcome back, mall rat.
Will you be wanting to take Shirley with you so that you can become the Adam and Eve of Mars?
Certainly not. I'm going to dump her, and I'm going to grab me a three-breasted Mars woman.
how do you know women on Mars got 3 breasts?
Well, if they have 2 breasts down here on Earth, they've got to have 3 because Mars has got to be better than this hellhole.
Okay, now I got another question. If women have 3 breasts, do the guys up there have 2 tools?
2 tools?
Tools like a penis.
Yes. Well, if you're going to use adverbs instead of the actual word,
I was trying to clean it up, but
say what you mean.
so when I get to Mars,
You penis.
so let me ask you this. So in the 7 years it's going to take you to get to Mars, you can take those special pills and you can grow a new one by the time you get there. So you'd have one to show.
I should
and
have
to go.
one. Yes. By the time I get there, I should have one enormous erection.
We didn't really need to go there, did we?
You started it, penis.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
What do you think there, Balrat?
Rocco ate a little bit of turkey.
hey, let's see, who's looking at
Didn't take long to bring the show down, did it?
No, right, 5 minutes.
Set the bar low and go down from there.
Take it down from there, right?
That's a short journey anyway.
Yes. Once I knew that you joined the conversation, Mallrat, I knew we were destined for greatness.
All right. Hey, do you have any energy problems down in Gurney where you live, Gunga?
Certainly not. We have all our lights on. We're using as much electricity as possible. My bill was 5 digits.
Sounds like my bar bill.
Yes. Well, now, nothing could be possibly that big.
Don't even think about it. Did you get vaccinated there, Gunga?
Certainly not. I will not be participating in that until, like Mr. Dennis says, at the end of the year, it's also going to improve your sex drive, from what I understand.
The vaccine?
It's super. Yes. Not only are you protected from the COVID, but you walk around entirely with a pup tent.
Wow.
Yes, it's pretty impressive. Hold out, Mr. Dennis.
I will.
Well, you're not old enough to get one yet anyway, are you, Gunga? You're not over 65.
Pardon me?
You're not over 65, are you?
I'm much over 55.
65.
Oh, 65. No, not quite ancient.
Hey, did you guys hear this story about these two gals who were like 34 and 48, and they dressed up as two old grannies in Florida and tried to get the vaccine? Get
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, and they gave them. Here's this right here. They gave them cards. You know, when you get vaccinated, they give you this little card and show the date you had the first shot and signed by the nurse. So they gave them a valid vaccination card, which suggests what to you? That they did this before.
Wow. So when they discovered them, did they charge them with anything?
Trespassing.
Well, we had the Illinois residents coming up here to get vaccinated. I says, well, I guess people from Kenosha go down to Illinois and buy pot. Uh-oh, this is a test. You can hear it. Everybody's getting this thing.
Yeah, I got one too.
Yep.
Is that your frozen pizza ready?
Well, there's a
No, it was a test of the extreme alert
there's
system.
a crash on Highway 50 apparently in the village of Bristol. Oh, this is only a test. Well, what are they bothering me? Don't they have better things to do than so?
Scott, you know, in Hawaii, they were saying that 50% of the people who got a first shot did not show up for their second shot.
Really?
Were they dead?
They did not show up.
I know, but
So I don't know, and the shot's not good unless you get both of them. So I don't know what these people are thinking.
Well, it's no one is somewhat effective, they said, but if, you really need two to get it fully effective. That's what they were saying. So
hey, Gunga,
one is better than none.
when you get yours, here's my recommendation: get yours in the buttocks so you get to drop your pants in front of a nurse
A male nurse.
named Walt.
Did you enjoy it?
Dropping my pants? Oh, when
Yes.
I took on the arm.
Oh. Well.
Hmm?
And as the Bible says, turn the other cheek.
Oh, excellent quote. One of my favorites.
Turn the other cheek. Hey,
By the way, Gunga, I know you are either Hindu or Muslim, but are you getting involved at all in sympathy with the Christian population, giving up anything for Lent?
I've given up the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club.
I'm talking about a sacrifice now, not a not a benefit.
That was
A human
good one.
sacrifice.
Hey, Gunga, giving up the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club, does that make you a better person?
Well, it makes me look smarter.
We've got another caller here, Uncle Scotty.
All right, boys, hang on. We'll see who's joining us.
Morning, you're on Kenosha today.
Everybody.
Hey, Paul.
Oh,
Is it the 13th of February still?
It's the 20th.
You've been hanging on the line for a whole week waiting to talk to us?
Yes, exactly. That's how committed and dedicated I am to the show.
Hey, Paul, as long as you're here, I got a question for you. Article in the paper today, Reince Priebus is considering a run for governor. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that, no.
It was in the paper today. Apparently, he's been talking. I almost didn't knew about it some weeks before, but
yep.
Well, at least somebody from Tremper will do something good with their life.
that was a shot there. I can tell you that was a shot.
We have two Tremper graduates here.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'll have to wait and see what he's, kind of like his platform. I mean, I'm kind of waiting to see what the, who's going to run and what they're talking about. One thing I find really interesting, though, I said this at the last gubernatorial election. I think tactically the Democrats made a huge mistake, and here's why. And I may have shared this in the past, but to me, they're now stuck with Tony Evers at his age running for a second term when they could have easily picked, the establishment could have picked Malon Mitchell, who I think would have won by a wider margin than Tony Evers. and would have been really well positioned, I think, to be reelected more so than Tony Evers. And Malin Mitchell, I think, is like 48 years old,
Yep.
African American, former head of the Wisconsin Firefighters Union. I mean, I think, and very well spoken. I think they're going to be, regardless of who the Republican is, they're going to have a real fight on their hands to get.
Well, didn't
Evers reelected.
didn't Evers have the backing of the Wisconsin Teachers Union?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, he was the former superintendent of schools.
Right.
You know, what I found interesting is, when they asked Evers for a comment, if he was going to run for governor in 2 years, he goes, "Governor? What, you mean I'm the governor?" Yes, that was his question. "You mean I'm the governor?"
Well, again, this is something that, because I don't even know if Malin Mitchell has even a platform at all in the Wisconsin Democratic Party. And frankly, if he doesn't run, who are they left with? I mean, somebody could step up, but they're left with the lieutenant governor, who I can't see, based on his previous comments and his actions. I would think they'd have a hard time getting him pushed over the finish line. I really do.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, but Paul, wasn't Barnes talking about running for senator?
I think I did hear that.
You know, about 15 years ago, Reince Priebus ran against Bob Wirtz for state senate. And I moderated 2 debates, one on live television between the two, and one the week before out at Parkside, sponsored by their political group. The place was packed. And Bob Wirtz, and the biggest issue at the time was something about a tax freeze, is all I can remember. But Reince Priebus, that was his only issue, but there were many other things. And after Bob Wirtz did his old shucks and took his fishing hat off, you know, he diffused that. And I remember asking Reince a question, and he kept talking about the tax freeze and Bob Wirtz, and he used up all his time and didn't answer all the rest of the questions. Well, Bob beat him, and I forget what the margin was, but Reince Priebus was a one-issue candidate at that time.
You know, it's funny, though. If it wasn't for Bob Wirtz, Scott Walker never would have been governor of Wisconsin, and Donald Trump never would have been president of the United States. Because Reince was head of the RNC of Wisconsin when Walker got elected. He was head of the RNC, the national RNC, when Trump got elected.
You know, he brings
So
up
it's all on Wirtz's head.
You know what? He's right, because after about 30 days after Reince loses, he's named the Republican state chairman for Wisconsin, and not too long after that, it was the national.
Yep, that's right.
And so a lot of people credit Reince Priebus for, even though Trump lost by 3 million votes, but Reince had the votes in the right states.
Yep.
And he took the Electoral College. So I think he'd make a great governor myself.
He knows how to raise money, too.
Oh, yeah. He's a
I
corporate
think
lawyer.
that's what he's putting the feelers out for right now, to see about financial support if he
Hey,
runs.
Scott, let me ask you a question, Scott.
Okay.
From the standpoint of who you would, what issues would you want to see in the next governor's race? You know, what are some of the critical issues you see that you would want these candidates to bring up?
Well, here's my feeling on politics. I don't think people necessarily win them. I think the other person loses them. So the issue right now in this state is the 600,000 people that never got their unemployments, or that's backlogged. And, you know, that would be a place, in my view, to start with the not getting the money. And it's been 2 years and having an outdated, antiquated computer system.
Actually, it's not.
It's not?
No, that's their story.
At any rate, that's the way it is. And I think for the most part, the state's, well, I don't have any complaints on the state level, but I think a lot of people would on that one issue. You got 600,000 people that didn't get their money. So what do you think the main issue would be?
The bigger one is going to be the schools aren't open for in-person learning,
that could
and
be.
Evers is not doing anything about it. So,
but there will be by the time they get there. So, Paul, what do you think?
Well, I think fundamentally it's got to be, you know, you mentioned earlier in the show the whole marijuana, money in there for, you know, legalizing marijuana. Unfortunately, so many states adopt that kind of a posture, and it's not, and the argument is always used, well, we got to generate tax revenue. Actually, the argument needs to be framed and flipped. It has to be on the spending side of it. That's what former Governor Scott Walker did so effectively. He said, "Look, let's stop looking at the revenue side of it and let's start looking at the spending side of it." You know, I'm in an industry where we sell equipment, and one of the manufacturers I represent sells equipment quite effectively. It's a Wisconsin-based company into the growing market. You know, the marijuana market, both in Canada and the U.S. And one of the dirty little secrets about that is, you know, sure, it does bring in revenue to the state, but what happens is the states then project like that revenue into their budgets. And ultimately what happens is the supply, because, you know, people apply for the grower's license, you get more and more growers, the price comes down. So the revenue is a lot less than projected. And, you know, the other thing I see about it is it's a slippery slope. And I know that, you know, people on the left will always say, no, it's not. But I can remember 30 years ago, certain issues being talked about and people warning about, well, this is just going to take us down this rabbit hole. And if we're just going to constantly say, well, we need to do this, we need to legalize this for tax revenue, we're going to run. What's next then? You know, the logical question to ask is like, what is next? Is it going to be heroin? And people laugh and, oh, they would never do that. You know, I don't agree with that. I think it becomes a slippery slope because if you just constantly, if a government just constantly voraciously spends our money, and in some cases very irresponsibly, then there's no end to it. There's no bottom to it. You know, there's just like, well, we need more money, so we're going to legalize this and we're going to legalize that because we can get the tax revenue from it.
You know, let's get off that a little bit, but do you think Evers announced that he was for this in anticipation that the legislature is going to?
Well, he ran on that the first time.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Well, Scott, like I said, what I'm looking for in a candidate, I shouldn't have gone on. I apologize for going on such a rant, but at the end of the day, what I'm looking for in a candidate is someone who's going to look at the spending side of the government, you know, of state government, and try to look for ways to be more fiscally responsible. That's one of my big number one issues.
All right.
Paul, I just want to bring up, it's like getting the revenue from, you know, legalizing this and legalizing that. Remember when they put the lottery in and we were going to get all this money back from a lottery credit to offset your property taxes? How much does everybody get every year?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you mine. My taxes went up to $6,600. My lottery credit is $102. So I'm not making a whole lot of money on the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, we have another caller here.
Hang on, boys. Somebody else is going to join us unless somebody's got to leave.
Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning. We just found you. We didn't think you were on.
That was last
I'll
week.
give you an example. I'll give you mine. My taxes went up to... Hey, somebody's got to turn their radio down.
Yeah, Gary Turnett.
Yeah,
that was you on the computer. Last week you weren't on, right?
That's correct. We weren't. It was last minute, and I got
Scott
bogged down. I had to work for a living, and I'm going to have to work for a living next week. We won't be here either.
So what'd you do, Shirley? Just get high?
Yeah, right. Did you guys just come on now, or were you on sooner?
We were on at 10 o'clock.
We just found you.
Yeah, we've been on since 10.
Well, if you get off that and hang up on that WLIP business, you'd find us at 10 when we come on.
So we've been trying since Gary couldn't find. He's been trying since 10 o'clock, and he says, no, they're not on.
Well,
Your ears must have been ringing, Shirley. We've been talking about you.
yeah, and
It really.
Gunga's been...
I got to do the weather.
Okay,
You got to hear
Gunga's
the
been
weather.
Gunga's been breathing really heavy, aren't you, Gunga?
Gunga's gone.
Gunga's gone. All right.
Gunga,
We're running out of time. Give me some weather.
Gunga, are you there?
He's gone.
Gunga,
It's left the building. He went to Mars.
when he
You
started
left.
talking about
Oh,
Wisconsin
well, I feel
taxes,
bad. We didn't think it was on.
I think he's back.
Oh, baby, do the weather. Oh.
Okay, today, mostly cloudy and very cold. Tomorrow, snow, midday, a little snow into the night. 2 to 4 inches, just what we need, more snow.
Hey, you're supposed to give the facts, not your opinion.
Hey, Gunga, are you there, Gunga?
I am.
Does this make
Ganga, hello, hi.
okay, Gunga, does this
Good
weather
morning,
report
Shirley,
get
my
you?
love, my
Gunga.
my reason for living.
I missed you on Valentine's Day.
I was at the local massage parlor.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Shirley, don't even talk to him. He said he wouldn't take you to Mars to be his Adam and Eve. Don't even talk to him.
Hey, Shirley,
You said that, Ganga?
I did.
you know,
Oh, well.
Yes.
here's
I don't know if I could possibly pass up the three-breasted women in Mars.
hey, Shirley, when you and
I
Gunga
gotta
travel-
read. You want me to read the rest of the weather?
No. I'm running out of time.
I just gotta say, Tuesdays, I can't believe it. Supposed to be 43 on Tuesday.
Good.
I look forward to it. My comment was going to be when you and Gunga ride the 300 million miles and take 7 years to get to Mars, there'll be no hanky-panky going on, right?
Well, I don't know about that.
Gunga, oh!
Ooh.
Oh, Dennis, I couldn't imagine spending any more time with a woman than 7 years.
Oh, you get the weather every day. Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that'll make your Doppler stand straight, huh? Hey, I had a
How's
your-
Hey, folks.
How's your camel today? How's Clyde?
Okay.
Well, I gave him a rectal examination this morning, and everything passed.
Good.
Hey, I got to get running here. I wrote a top 10 for last week, which would have been Valentine's weekend. So I saved it.
Yes.
So here it is, written in our home office. In the bathroom here at Barter Manor, this week's top 10 thought-provoking category, the top 10 signs no one wants to be your Valentine. Number 10. It's been disclosed you once dated Irish Ruth. Number 9. Had been on vacation with Jimmy Hoffa. Number 8. Broke all 10 commandments at least once, Gumbo. Number 7. Used to neck and kiss Shirley in the Roosevelt Theater. Number 6.
Oh.
Your last date canceled because she had to rearrange her sock drawer. Number 5. The babes just don't dig your Kenosha trolley driver's uniform. Number 4. Your online dating name is Catch and Release. Number 3. Spent the last 2 years in the Witness Protection Program. Number 2. For Valentine's gifts, you are registered at the adult bookstore. And the number 1 sign no one wants to be your Valentine. Your bar tab is over 6 digits. Can you imagine anyone letting a bar tab go that long? Oh,
Did you say bar tab or barter tab?
one and the same.
That's not much difference.
One and the same. Much
Hey,
different.
Scott,
Yes.
did you get the experimental biological agent shot in the buttocks?
Boy, I wanted to. I just wanted to drop my pants in front of that gal. But I noticed she was married, and I didn't want to. You know, they go in the little,
Yes,
a little room there, like, and it was really kind of cozy.
yeah. Well, it's a good thing you did not, Mr. Barter. She might have died of a heart attack from laughter. You'd
What
be
are you laughing
rude.
for, Shirley?
That's funny.
That's not funny. Don't entertain these guys. So.
Dennis, how's Nancy? You're back from your trip,
good.
right?
Oh, yeah, she's tan as I don't know what. I mean, she's showing off her tan to everybody.
Oh, good for her.
And they don't have they don't have too many malls there either, so I wasn't too occupied.
Did you get a tan too?
Not well, not as deep as hers, but I started to burn, so I had to kind of wear a straw hat to, avoid that a little bit.
Were you wearing a thong? Hey, Dennis, were you wearing a thong?
No, but I will say that a lot of interesting people around the pool were.
Hey, Dennis?
We don't want to. I was going to ask you what you classified as interesting, but we got Gunga on the other line, and impressionable he is.
We have one more,
Oh,
Scotty.
he's very impressionable.
Time?
Yeah.
We got.
Well, there are a lot of Japanese fellows with tan lines.
Okay, I got to wrap this up in a little bit. I got one more caller. Hang on. This is 5 calls. We've never done this before, have we?
No, we can't take it.
Okay.
Yep. We've exceeded the limit.
You want me to drop off?
I didn't bump it up at the beginning of the show.
Is he still on the line?
Oh no, let me bite the bullet, Dennis. Let me do it.
Hey, Gunga,
Okay.
take one for the team and hang up.
I can
I'm
drop
going
him.
to. I can't take it anymore.
Bye,
All right.
bye, Ganga. Love you.
All right,
Bye,
one more.
Ganga.
We got time for
Take it easy,
one.
buddy.
Love you.
All right.
Hey, Captain.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Aye, aye. Aye, aye, Captain.
Oh,
got
hi, Dennis.
We got 2 minutes
Hi,
left.
guys were-
Captain. Hi,
Hi,
Captain.
Shirley. Hello,
Hi,
Shirley.
honey. How are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Yeah.
We got 2 minutes
Spaceship
left.
Love.
We got 2 minutes left. 'Cause I got to quit early because I got to work.
Oh.
So
Oh, I wanted to comment about that movie Blazing Saddles. They did show it on network. I watched with my older sister. They cut the noise out of that scene, the circle thing, the bean scene. When they were lifting up the buttocks, they cut the sound down. My
Not on the
sister's
one
like,
on
well, what? It
Captain,
wasn't funny at all.
TCM.
Captain, you're
Well,
familiar
on
the one on
network TV,
TCM.
on network TV, they cut the sound down. So they're lifting up their sides. My sister go, what are they doing? I'm trying to explain to her it's farce, and she's real like
well, we're ending on a
real
high note.
prissy kind of girl. She's older and prissy. And
Hey, gang.
I'm trying to tell you to yell at her. They're farting, Betsy.
Hey,
Come
hey,
on.
gang.
We're out of time.
I'm out of time because I have to leave a little early. So, Captain, I'll see you at the
Okay.
conference if you're going to be there. And Shirley,
See you
we'll
at
see
the-
you.
yeah.
Stay off the AM airwaves. And Dennis, as always, we'll see you in 2
Okay.
weeks.
Hey, Dennis, you got to come by and visit us, Dennis.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
See ya.
Take it easy, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you
Bye-bye.
going to be off next week, did you say?
Yeah, one more time I have to take off.
Next week.
Yeah, next
oh,
week.
oh, I'm so glad I found you. Gary couldn't find you. I thought you
There goes the suicide rate again.
Yeah, right.
All right. All right, I got to go, gang.
I'm glad I found you.
Got to go. Talk to you in 2 weeks.
We're ending right,
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
right now.
And that is going to wrap it up for the
Bye-bye.
February
Bye, Dennis. Bye.
20th edition of the Kenosha State Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. We want to thank our sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, Kenosha for Open Honest Government, and Charlie Kids, These Kids for Cancer Treatment Foundation. We have been broadcasting this morning from the Barter Manor Studio, located on the corner of Happy and What Went Wrong. Again, we invite you to join us on Facebook. Just a reminder that in addition to watching our replays of on YouTube, you can hopefully watch us on Spectrum's Channel 14, Tuesdays at 7 and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And so for Elmo and myself, until we meet the next time, we thank you for the privilege of your time, and please take care of yourself and each other. I'm Scotty Barter, and have a very pleasant weekend.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. I was trying to say to Captain, aren't you familiar with the term silent but deadly? Who's floating in here?
Her mama always
written by our piano player, Mr. Elmo the Insane.
Well, I'm not a crook.